And we are back, the Rated RR podcast. Rich Roshan Rai here, along with Ziaul Raushan, who's been away sipping espressos and enjoying his tiramisu. Glad he's back with us, Ziaul Raushan there. And we've got a very special guest because we've got a special show. We are going to be reviewing and previewing certain elements of the Aff Suzuki Cup. I'm delighted to say we are joined by a legend of Singapore football, someone who's played in this competition, who has won it, has experienced winning it, and is still in the game. Muhammad Noor Ali, how are you?
I'm good, man, guys. Anyway, thank you for having me in the show. I think it has been quite a while, but it's nice to be on the show now.
I hear you're a man in hot demand, so we're glad that you are taking the time to speak to us on this one, man.
I think the last show I had was with Sashi and you, lah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
I'm seriously honored to be able to have this chance to be in this show, lah. I've been watching you guys, and find most of the stories very interesting with you guys, and it's good to be on this show, lah. Yeah. Right, let's see how interesting or the rating can go up on this.
Might be the highest rated show we've got.
Exactly. Yeah. Coach, you're a hard man to get, so we are very excited to have you on the competition. Roshan touched on it earlier. You've played in this competition before. You won it in 1998 with an all-local squad. Some of your best memories of the competition, just talk us through that first.
Okay, definitely the 98 one. I mean, that is one of the best memory I ever had, because I was still quite new to the national team, and going through that tournament. Actually, nobody gave us a chance, but I think we did a fantastic job. It's not easy going to Vietnam, especially playing against Vietnam in the finals. And then, so I think Sashi brought his shoulder of blades along that night. And whatever people can say, he scored the winning goal and we got the cup. I think that was one of the best, but it was the only Tiger Cup. Then after they changed it to Suzuki Cup. Of course, the next two edition, there was not much good memories because we didn't do well, especially in the 2002 edition where we lost to Malaysia. 4-0 first game. I think that was something that if you look back, he just doesn't want to think about that, losing in front of 40,000 crowd. I still remember that because it's just one thing that you want to forget, but saying that, I think I had a good tournament that year. I scored against Thailand, I scored against Philippines in the second game, but still the best memories is 1998 .
Yeah, I remember that game against Malaysia. I was there at the National Stadium. Indra Putra, I think, had a really good game in that, right?
Oh,
heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. I mean, especially losing to Malaysia. One of your main rivalries. You can't just imagine going back to the hotel that night. You just doesn't want to go Johor that night.
Yeah. Hey, but let's focus before we move on into this season's competition, this year's campaign. I have to ask you, how was the after party 1998 Vietnam summer?
Wow, the after party,
Apocalypse now.
I mean, okay, actually we cannot go out. There was no after party because you have all the Vietnamese with their motorbikes, you can't even sleep until about 4-5 o'clock in the morning. They just were there the whole night, while we still in the room trying to sneak from the back door, but still no chance.
So just party in the room, party in the hotel.
I mean, okay, we did had a small party after the semi-finals because I think it was an achievement after 1996, and where we went to the finals, of course, a group of players. I mean, I think it's done and over so many years. We went out, some of us really went out, to celebrate that night. And I still remember how Kadir got so pissed off the next morning. and I think, I mean, as part of the team bonding, I think we can see how the players put in the effort in the finals. Yeah.
And that's all that matters. At the end of it, you all came away with the trophy. too bad sayang this year's campaign, even if Singapore go on and win it, cannot celebrate 10:30 all lights out. Everything close.
They have their ways lah. Don't worry.
Okay, Raushan, let's move into let's swiftly move on to this season's competition, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, Coach, before we dive into the specifics of this year's competition, just your overall thoughts on Singapore so far. What do you make of their performances?
I mean, okay, definitely result-wise, I think it has been good for Singapore. I think we are in the semi-finals. Technically, in the first two games, I think we were spot on. I think we came out, we wanted the result against Myanmar, and we got it, And in the second game, I think we changed the formation a bit, playing 3-4-3, and we managed to counter Philippines well, and we managed to get the 3 points. Of course, last night performance was not the best we have seen in the last 3 games, but I think what matters most is getting to the semi-final, because as we know, this is a sprint, you just need to go out there, get the result, and hopefully in the semi-finals, anything happens, and hopefully the boys can go to the finals lah.
Yeah, it was interesting for me as well. Watching the first game was that sort of back 4, and then second game they switched it up to a back 5 at time, or back 3, depending on how you play, in possession, out of possession. I wonder if they were thinking about Philippines' physicality. I don't know, Ali, what was your assessment of the change in tactics and formation? Were you a bit surprised?
I mean, I'm quite surprised with the change of formation, because I don't see Philippines giving us any threat besides the number 8, but basically that guy didn't even play against he came on later part of the game, when he came on, something that happened, because most of the time Philippines had more possession in terms, they are not dangerous in attack, but I think there is a game plan. Yeah, there's a game plan. I think they want to go on a quick transition, because the minute Philippines starts to open up, they create too much space for people like Faris to get into that space, So and I think the second goal was shows what if you're a coach and you plan that way, and the way Zul goes down the line and send a cross in, perfect cross, for Faris to finish, So I think the game plan works for Singapore. Maybe not the best game to watch in terms of how you want to see they play, but I think in terms of results and getting the objective that they want, I think they are there lah. I mean, I don't fancy Philippine teams that much, but I mean, the result counts at this moment lah.
Can I just ask you where you think our strengths are? What do you think is our best, where we work the best? Because, okay, I'll give you my perspective. My perspective is that sometimes when we play possession game, we struggle a little bit. But it seems like counter-attacking, we seem to be doing well in that section. And set pieces, because we've got good delivery of the ball, we've got good people to challenge in the air. What's your take on it from a coach's perspective?
For me, Singapore's strength is at set pieces at this point of time lah. I mean, that's something that teams like Vietnam and Thailand, they really have to defend this well against Singapore, because I think Sharan got good delivery. Even Zulfami play, he got good delivery. We got very good height in Safwan, Irfan. Even Shakir can score goals. And so I think this is one of our major strengths lah. I definitely agree with you with the counter-attacking game, because you have Shawal, you have Faris, you even have Amy on the bench. We have enough speed to get behind any defense line, and the quality is there to finish. Especially you have Iksan. You give Iksan 1v1. If you look at his the goal against Myanmar, I think the player is a beast. But he was very quiet last night. Throughout the game. But you give Irfan that space and time, he will kill you. And of course, in terms of the football part, when we talk about when we have the ball, keeping possession, that is something that I think, of course, definitely we have to work on lah. But like I said, the tournament is only 4 more games or 2 more games to the finals. I think it's not about the football, no, it's about getting the result and be there lah. Yeah.
Coach, at this point, I need to ask you, you talk about the different formations. First match, different formation. Second match, different formation. How important is that tactical flexibility? Because to my knowledge, to my memory, Singapore always has one type of way they play, and then all throughout the competition, they play like a way. But now suddenly there's an element of surprise almost, where there's tactical flexibility. How important is that in a competition like the Suzuki Cup?
I think it's very important, because it's not only Singapore. If you look at Thailand, if you look at Thailand itself, these are high level teams. You know, they started. I give you an example, like yesterday game when they play Philippines. They started with a 4-3-1-2 with Chanati playing behind the two strikers. As the game goes on, they took out the number 12. Number 6 and 12. Then they put the number 8 down there. They go 4-2-3-1 with the number 24. In the last 10 minutes when they got the second goal, they basically went to 5-5-2-3, something like that, to defend the goal. And this happens every game, and it works for them. But what I'm trying to say is the playing style doesn't change. You know, the formation changes, but the playing style doesn't change. The difference between the Singapore team and the Thai team is that we are predictable a bit in terms of certain things we do. You know, teams will know that we are going for set pieces, for counter attacking. You know, and that is something that going into a semi-finals, if you play a high level team like Malaysia, like Indonesia, you know, Vietnam, then this is something that we really have to have a plan now, because even if Singapore changes the formations or the way they want to, you know, how they want to, whatever formation they want to play, I think the playing style should not change. It has to be the same way that they want to play. Of course, I think we have not used Iksan to his best ability at this point of time. I think we know this guy, you know, he has good header of the ball, good link up play, but it's a bit disappointing. I don't blame the boy, because the ball doesn't get to him most of the time. But he can win games for us, you know, and he can win. He can bring something into the semi-finals. There's something we must know, that he's one of our threat in attack.
Yeah, I mean, since you mentioned Thailand, actually, it looks like it's going to be an interesting one. The final group game, both teams already through. Is this an important game to go and win, though? I mean, or do you think Singapore will look to try and rotate it a little bit, or do you think they will look at semi-final possible opposition? Maybe if we finish top, we might play against those who finish second, either Indonesia or Malaysia, rather than finish second, play against Vietnam. Does that kind of thinking come into it? How would you be approaching this?
I mean, if you want to go out there and win the cup, you should not bother who you meet. You know, you can play Thailand, you can play Vietnam. Definitely, you know, you want to go out there and beat Thailand, because okay, this is, I mean, as a player who has been there and played against Thailand so many times, this is we lost the battle, 50% of battle, because we said, oh, we're gonna play Thailand. You know, I think that the only time that mentality changes, when I think it was during Reddy's time, where, you know, the players, even when they went to Thailand, they even beat Thailand, or they get a draw to win the cup. You know,
that's right.
That mentality must be there. You know, we are going out there to win the cup. It doesn't matter we play Thailand, we play Vietnam. If you play according to the plan and what the coaches want, then we might pull off a result. So for me, we should not be thinking whether we're going to finish first or second. We should think that we are going out there to beat Thailand. You know, whoever you play in the semi-final, you know, you still have to target to go to the finals, because it's a two-leg game and anything happens, you know. So for the players, I think the mentality has to be right, that they want to reach the final. You cannot choose the opponent you play, you know. Sadly, it becomes very hard.
And you mentioned this, and I straight away thought of 1998, when I think it was Thailand and Indonesia playing the fool in their game, trying to score own goal and all that, because they wanted to play against Singapore, right? The weaker, supposed weaker team, and then anyway both got knocked out. So
I mean, we were watching this from the hotel, and we can't believe that, you know, it was happening, especially in a prestigious cup like this, you know.
That's right.
But okay, I mean, that was something interesting, you know, because you were seeing like they are taking corners, but they are trying to even score from the corners, I think, you know. So yeah, but I think the mindset has to change, lah. You know, then we have a good chance of winning the cup in Singapore, lah.
Coach, we want to move on to Group B quite quickly, but before that, just a quick word on Safwan Bahrudin, 100 caps. Plenty being said on social media about what a legend he is of Singapore football, right? Any thoughts on this milestone he achieved, and how far can he go?
I mean, this guy has shown that, you know, he's one of the best defenders we ever had, you know, and he has no, I don't think he has even played for any Singapore club at this point of time. You know, he has always played in overseas. Young Lions. Everyone will be part of that at some time. So I think he has played overseas for so many years. He has shown, you know, what kind of caliber defender he is. You know, he is even, I think, has signed another extension with Selangor. You know, and And this guy has just a great personality lah. I can put him with Haris alongside lah. A nice guy, does his job well. Doesn't complain. I think that shows that kind of professionalism he has, and I'm happy to see that he actually reached 100 caps. And I think he has another maybe 3-4 years of good football for the national team, and hopefully you can't see anyone that will take over him at this point in time except for Irfan. But he has done well for the national team lah. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's a great way to segue into a look at Group B actually. And this really enjoying this chat. It's just breezed by. We're 15 minutes in, 15 and a half minutes in, and we're all the way to Group B already. Very enjoyable. It's moving along like the pace. Coach, how have you, when you looked at Group B, when you looked at Vietnam, to me they seem like a class apart. But what makes them this class apart? What is the differences between them and some of the other sides that they've come up against?
This Vietnam team is, I will call it a gung ho team lah. They will start from the start till the end. They will just go out there. They will just press you. They don't give you time on the ball. Technically, they are physically strong, technically strong, tactically strong. They are actually a complete team in Asia. If you look at Thailand and Vietnam, the difference is Thailand still pays the tournament. You haven't seen Thailand at their best yet. They are still struggling to get the result. I think I don't know, maybe it's still we just target for the semi-finals. Maybe they are preparing for the semi-finals or even the finals. But you look at Vietnam from day one. They are out there. For me, it's the level of the quality of players that they have. It's totally different, and I think most of them play in very good leagues. And so far I've seen the fittest team in even, I don't think at this point in time I can say Thailand is the fittest team. They are the fittest team. I think and I'll still say that they are the favorites to win the Suzuki Cup at this point in time. Unless there's some upsets here and there, but they are definitely the favorites to win the cup Look at the mentality of the coach. He looks like one, uncle where you just meet down the road,
That's right.
But you look at every time he stands up and just start shouting when he doesn't get the thing and start demanding certain things. If Noor Ali do that, that means he will just get.
I was just going to say he must have been watching you and Geylang in the SPL this season on the touchline for inspiration.
Because if I do, I'm not going to do that. I enough of the form official.
Coach, I sticking to Vietnam, right? From a coach's perspective, I just want to understand. We talk about how great they are. They are the best team. Have you spotted any weakness at all?
I mean, it's very hard to.
This is a tough one.
Tough one because even through transition, they recover well behind the ball as a team. As a team, they are really solid lah. You cannot you can see Thailand getting caught in counter attacks. That is something that we actually have a chance against Thailand because we have that Singapore has that ability of getting behind them. But it's not easy doing that against Vietnam. They are very balanced when they are attacking. Their positional play is solid. And every players know what they want to do on the pitch. That's the best thing about this Vietnam team. And look at how they counter press when they lose the ball. Because maybe for us we will last 30 minutes. They do that 90 minutes. So that's a very, very big difference. And at high level football, even if you look at the qualifiers where they are in the Saudi, they don't get hammered. They don't get hammered. They still get this, even they are not getting the results, but they are actually pretty decent results, and they play good football. With Saudi, with Japan in the group.
That's right.
They are still one of the top teams in Asia.
They made it difficult for Australia as well. They're doing well in qualifying. They're still struggling for that win, but as you said, they make it very difficult for the big boys in Asia. Actually, one of the other things that impressed me about this Vietnam side is you mentioned the counter pressing. They work really hard off the ball to put opposition, and then they rest when they have possession. That's when they slow it down at times. That's when they rest, which is fascinating for me. Vietnam at this level, we've seen them grow through the years. I want to ask you, can Singapore get to that level, and what is it going to take?
it's gonna take a lot of a lot of things to be done, because it's not about to be able to do this is not at the SPL level, because if I'm gonna repeat this, it's just gonna say whatever I've been saying the last 10 years, because there's two things that we always get confused. The playing style that is being done in the first team is totally different. I think what we want to focus, we have been talking about this philosophy of football that we want to play. I think we must understand one thing. How do we create the players to play that philosophy? I think Thailand has done that for all these years. They have created the players from young, to play that philosophy they want to play. Vietnam has created the players that, they want to play, because you cannot be doing this once. They have been doing this for so many years. The football they play since 98, they already have the speed, the physique. They just get better and better, and they follow the trend of football, and they are creating players to do that. So our biggest problem is, I think we are not creating enough players to be able to suit whatever the philosophy of football that Singapore wants to play, because we cannot compare to the club level. It's totally different, but if you look at, I give you an example at Timor-Leste yesterday. I think if I were playing with Singapore yesterday, I think I would just kick one of them, because they were making a fool of all of us. They were, and you're playing against Timor-Leste, they just kick the ball, you just pass the ball and pass the ball and pass the ball, and you are chasing like they are playing Rondo 3v1 4v2 like that. So you will get frustrated. So you see, even Timor-Leste is also trying to develop certain. Of course, result is not in their way, but they actually impressed me in terms of the way they play football. Myanmar, even Cambodia, they actually have actually improved so much. Are they going to close the gap with us? Because we are not closing the gap with Vietnam and Thailand. So we must worry that these teams are going to close the gap closer to us. So that is something that, like I say, like the half an hour can become 1.5 hours. So
we will have you on another time for that. By the way, speaking of, Noor Ali was mentioning kicking and all that. I used to play against him many years ago. And,
I was about to say,
we used to fight a lot, all kinds of swear words would be exchanged, but it doesn't look like it now, the way we're getting along and the way we're talking. What happens on the
pitch stays on the pitch.
No, seriously. Even before this, like when we went for the interview, so I mean, I said, I know. I said, we used to get to each other every time in the game, Then it's like, I said, but I mean, for me, we players have to understand one thing. Whatever happens on the pitch, once you're off the pitch, you are done.
That's it,
You should not carry out. It's totally different. It's totally different.
No,
I tell you honestly, on the pitch, I think everybody know me. I'm an asshole. Oh, I can use that.
Can.
Everybody knows that. Even but. On the pitch, I'm totally a different guy, It's totally different.
I remember Indra actually telling me once, because we were teammates at SAFFC and we used to play against each other when I was still at Balestier. He said, "This guy Rich, I thought you were a complete asshole. Every time opening your mouth, talking to this, talking to that. You young fella talking to older players, all like, you don't. But now I see you're okay lah. Anyway, speaking of kicking,
Bastard, you say okay lah."
Speaking of kicking, speaking of fighting, I think we're going to get a lot of that, Raushan, in the decider. What I think will be the decider, the big derby, Raushan. Tell us what the big derby is going to be.
Huge derby coming up between Malaysia and Indonesia. I think that is what Roshan is alluding to. It's going to be feisty. It's going to be exciting because whoever wins that probably will go through alongside Vietnam, right? Who's got the edge in that game, coach?
Wow, this is going to be very close. Very close. And I totally agree with you guys. This game is going to be haywire. It's going to be haywire because I think both teams really need the 3 points to get through, and for me, Malaysia has a bit of edge because I think they are still a team that I think can be very composed in this kind of situation. Indonesia will be a bit they are the one that will be a bit when things doesn't go right. That's why you worry for Indonesia, but I think they definitely, these two teams will create a very good game in this derby because I think both have good players in the team, and very good individual players in the team. And actually, Indonesia also plays a very good high pressing game.
That's right.
They actually press very high. But saying that, this is one thing that Malaysia has done well. They actually has developed so many good players out there. People like Lukman. I think what's the guy name? Aiman Arif, is it?
Arif Aiman,
Arif. Arif Aiman. Aiman Arif is the Malaysian singer. So Arif Aiman. And then you have they have so many good players out there, and they have senior players also. But it's gonna be a good game lah. It's gonna be a game. And so it'll be nice to see who they're gonna play in the semi-finals.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Derby Nusantara between Malaysia and Indonesia. One experienced side, as Noor Ali has said, in Malaysia, experienced team, more senior players. It's not their best squad that they've been able to bring here, but still they know what to do. Indonesia, a young team that you say very aggressive, and with a very experienced coach in Shin Tae-yong. I mean, this is going to be fascinating, man. This is going to be really, really fascinating encounter. And then what happens in the semi-final going to be fun as well, man. It's going to be good. Raushan, anything else?
I think we got a bit of time, so I'm just gonna try my luck.
He wants to squeeze.
I know.
Every bit of time we can.
We've got Coach Noor Ali, who's obviously the head coach of Geylang International. So, Coach, I'm not going to ask you too many questions about Geylang International, but there are fans who support the club who will be listening right now. And they will be like, Raushan, why you never ask anything about Geylang? So just
because the chat know about Geylang.
Just a few lines.
I must shift my phone back to the.
I think he's suddenly getting a phone call from somewhere else.
What can Leonard on the line? What can the fans expect in 2022?
I mean, definitely it's going to be a very new team. It's going to be a new start again for Geylang, a new challenge, with a new group of players. But also, I mean, the players have done well for me the last 3 seasons. People like Darren, Amy, Zainul, Barry, and everyone, Fidaus, Christopher. I am happy to see. Even they are not going to be with me next season, but you are always happy as a coach to see your players develop, get better contracts out there, and they are moving forward. Rather than you see them getting away from football and not staying there. So I think this group of players has been fantastic. For me is a new challenge as a coach. It's definitely a new team. I think everybody know who I've signed. A lot of people saying it's a transfer deal between. Okay, so I mean, for me, we only have 6 local clubs in Singapore. So and you have to just balance out with whatever you can work with, and it's always a challenge for me as a coach, because you can have the best team and goes out there and win the league, and as a coach you don't really challenge yourself. I think the last 3 seasons in Geylang, I really challenged myself working with a small squad with limited players I have, but I love it. I've enjoyed myself. It's a learning process for me. Going through a lot of things. Even this season, I think for me, it just make you a better person. For me, this is always a learning experience for me. You can never have another chance to be able to coach at the highest level. How many coaches, local coaches, can be here sitting at SPL level? There's only a limitation to be able to do that with the 6 local clubs. So I'm one of the lucky ones. So what I can do is just make use of whatever I have right now. I love critics because critics make me a better person. The more you hunter me, the more I like it. Because you are basically challenging me to be a better person. To be a better coach. There's no right, there's no wrong in football. Every coach has their own opinion. You cannot say Jurgen Klopp today he press, tomorrow he don't press. Then that means he forget his philosophy of football. So there's always things that you learn as a coach. For me, I've learned I love my time during my 3-4 years at Geylang. Definitely, I got 1 more year with Geylang to go on, and definitely I want to do well. I think my target is still to get the club back to the AFC. I think with the new ruling and everything, I think the competition is going to be much more tougher next season. So it's also I think it's going to be on the same level ground. Maybe once injury and suspension starts to cut.
Very good, very good. You speaking of Jurgen Klopp, you are starting to transform into Jurgen Klopp in terms of the look. Really,
Yeah, the cap, the janggut, the specs.
The cap is because my hair is all over the place.
Coach,
okay, coach.
it's
We started on Aff Suzuki Cup, Raushan. Before you end us off, I want to put you on the spot very quickly. We end on Aff Suzuki Cup as well.
Okay.
We know the teams from Group A going to the semi-finals. Let me put you on the spot. From Group B, who are we going to get? Vietnam plus Malaysia or Indonesia?
That means Singapore playing who in the semi-final?
No, just give me a team from Group B that will go through with Vietnam.
Okay, I think basically Vietnam, Malaysia lah.
Vietnam, Malaysia,
Okay.
and who will go on to win the competition?
Oh, I love my country. I mean, definitely I want Singapore to go out there and win the competition, because I think the boys have put in so much effort, and if we are tactically right every game, you never know. It's just 4 more games, we might be able to win the competition, But if you talk about the current team on form, it's Vietnam lah. It's Vietnam.
Okay, Ken.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Coach, don't worry. I put Roshan under the spot for you. Rosh, who you think is going to win the competition?
I think the final is going to see Thailand. No, I think the final is going to see Thailand against Vietnam, and I think Vietnam are going to win it. I think Vietnam are going to win it at the end. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Coach Noor Ali, it's been fantastic having you on the show. We've tried so hard to get you. We finally got you, and you've been absolutely worth the wait. Thank you so much for giving so much life to what is already a very exciting competition. We wish you all the best for 2022. Enjoy the football. And guys listening, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Rosh and I are going to keep the AFF Suzuki Cup content coming along. So thank you for listening and enjoy the football.
Thank you, guys.